We're back. Oh, already? I know it's kind of crazy, right? Feels like I've been gone forever, but I think it's just because I didn't do a Saturday show. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. But speaking of that, guess what? There's not going to be another Saturday show this week. In replacement of that, we're going to have the Indie Reporter Senator Trust Chart instead. Last Friday, we did the state rep one. This Friday, we're doing the senator one. Turned out pretty good. I think we all knew who was going to be the winner even before that. King Ireland, as usual. Get the man his crown for not only freshman of the year, but state rep of the year. So this, I think this one, you're going to be a little bit disappointed of what's going to happen. Kiff in the chat, let's go. So, yeah, I'm Steve Whitmer, a.k.a. Slick Whitty, a.k.a. Baron of Banville, a.k.a. the most feared man in Indianapolis. And tonight is the weed show, finally, that I've been saying that was going to happen for a while. I actually thought I was going to do a different show, but then I decided that I wasn't going to. So make sure let's just do the intro because I got like 4 different pages. We got 50 minutes to cover all the stuff, which should be plenty of time. Maybe we'll see. I'm not even going to be looking at the chat because I already know who's going to be in there. So make sure that you're following the Indie Reporter. Make sure you're following Whitty Reviews. I did not go to the city county meeting last night because, in fact, I was trying to save a squirrel. Didn't end up well. And then make sure you're following R.N. Franco. Hey, check that out. R.N. Franco got you a couple more followers. Hopefully they're not porn bots, but no promises. I love the new profile picture too. That is the creator of the Indie Reporter logo. Gonna come out with some merch pretty soon, if I remember. And then who else? We got anybody else? All right. This is not what I was looking for. All right. So first things first, before we get into this thing, we received some information. This is going to be a call out and call for action for anybody that can give us a help, give us a hand. Apparently there was a 12-year-old that got raped by an illegal. It's supposed to come down the chart come down the line that the legal got a 5-year plea deal. And we're just trying to get some information. That's the name, Oscar Sierra. It's like Oscar Sierra Monon or Manon. Where is it? Right here. And just trying to get some information on what is going on. Apparently, they're supposed to have a bench trial in a couple of days. But if anybody can help out with that, that would be great. Because then we're just going to, hey, we'll give you a shout out on Indie Reporter, obviously, if you help us out. Unless you want to stay anonymous. But we're looking into it, obviously. All right, so weed show. Here we go. Let's go. I am not looking at the comments, like I said. The private chat will be open right here to the right of me. I got this, and I got my notes right there, which I'll be going back and forth because here is the deal. I am not a fan of weed, and all of you are going to say, I already know what you're going to say too, because I've had this argument so many times. I am never going to be on the side of weed. Legalizing it, even a little bit, the hemp stuff, the THC stuff, any of it. I am not on the side of it. You're never going to convince me it is a good idea. And some of you will say, oh, Whitty, what about alcohol? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, yeah, I don't like it either. I don't think it should be around. But guess what? Prohibition ended like 100 years ago. And how has it gone so far, huh? We still have drunk driving, even though there's rules against it. We still have alcoholics, even though there's all these rehab centers. And have things gotten better? No, they haven't. So if it is not a net positive, I don't give a shit. And here's the deal. I'm going to do a little bit of cursing tonight. This is going to be a mediocre, family-friendly show because this kind of stuff gets me wound up so bad because people like safe and regulated Indiana. These are the people that are trying to legalize weed right now. Joe Elsner's on the team. Michael Paul Hart is on the team. Indiana legislators are on the team. And all these people are my enemy, my sworn enemy. I will never like these people because these are all standard GDP bros. All they care about is money. And they have this lame-ass argument, which I'm about to show you in a little bit, on what their copy and paste is of, hey, guess what? This is where this is the reasons why we should legalize it. These are going to be the benefits of it. And so when I emailed Michael Paul Hart after he sent me this copy and paste thing from Safe and Regulated, I gave him all the information of why you're totally wrong. And did I ever get an email from Michael Paul Hart? No. Because he doesn't like emailing people. He doesn't even like emailing any reporter. So F him. So these are the legislators right here. We got, I don't know who that, I think that's Bartels. I don't know who that is. Van Nutter, Jake Teshka, and Bartlett. No, I forgot, but he's like a medical guy too. They all got money from Safe and Regulated. So if you go on to Safe and Regulated, what you'll see, I'll go on their Twitter page, all the time to tax and regulate every hour. Another Hoosier is arrested for marijuana. Well, maybe they shouldn't be having marijuana. What do you do to attract so much attention to yourself that you're getting caught with marijuana? These are the same morons that get caught with open containers. Like, you know that it's illegal. What are you doing to attract attention to yourself where you're going to get pulled over and then they're going to find a weed or a bag of that wacky tobacco on you? I don't know. I'd like to know. Actually, I don't care because you'd have to be a dope. Well, obviously, you're a dope head, so totally makes sense. 9 in 10 Americans say marijuana should be legal. All right, who are these real people? That's what I'd like to know. So their Facebook page has blocked me. They have blocked me on the Slick Whitty Facebook page. Why? Because I was mogging them all the time. These are thin-skinned, insecure little twats that can't handle any kind of criticism, whether it's on the internet, while it's in person. And these are all arguments that I can debunk of what they're claiming. Why? Because I am awesome. I do my research. That's why. And guess what? There are garbage states that have already done it. And how has it worked out for them? Well, let me tell you what, not well. Some of them are having buyer's regret right now, and they're going to be low. They want to lower the potency of the THC. All right, so this is where I want to start with this whole thing. Obviously, alcohol has been around for a long time, and prohibition has ended almost 100 years ago. What has not happened that long ago? Legalizing the electric lettuce. And everybody thinks that it was actually California that legalized it first. It wasn't. It was Washington or something. I think it was Washington. Where is it? I don't think I have it on here. Blah, 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 blah. Legalized. Yeah. Colorado. Legalized recreational. Okay, I was wrong. Washington State. Yeah, it was Washington. I was right. There we go. Then Colorado, then Alaska. And these are all the states that have legalized it recreationally. And everybody's saying, oh, well, you know what? This is my favorite argument about this is about, well, we just need a ballot measure. Well, do you see what Ohio is doing right now? They want to get rid of qualified immunity for the 5-0. And some of you goon really hard about that. But I can guarantee you, if the cops weren't around within an hour or two, you would get murked. Because the only reason why you haven't been killed right now is because there is a consequence. If you have no police and you start getting rid of the court system, guess what? You're going to get killed and you're going to get raped. Probably in that order, too, especially if you're in Indianapolis. That's definitely going to be happening. All these people had a ballot measure, and all these people were like, oh, yeah, let's totally get weed legalized. And what are like the top states that people are leaving? Oh, Washington's one of them. California, Oregon, DC, Alaska, we've already known has a bunch of rapists over there. Colorado. Well, the problem with Colorado is that it is a lot of red, but they're also counting illegals so they can change the electoral college. You have to be careful with that. All of it is fake. All of it is lame. Yeah. You know, this is what Corey, for sure. This is what I hate about summer living in Marion County. You get the morons that don't know how to drive because they're all high. You add a little bit of that. I have to smell their weed, and I have to hear their garbage music. All right. So with that being said, hopefully this shows up. And it doesn't. What about this one? Okay, here we go. Good. All right. So this is what happened. I emailed Michael Paul Hart back in November of 2021. I am a big proponent of transparency. I can say that I did all these things, but until I show that there's proof, it's just word of mouth. You're going to have to take my word for it. So obviously, This is all copy and paste. I'm going to debunk all of this. Let's first go the first thing. Public safety and law enforcement. Regulating marijuana frees up law enforcement to focus on hard drugs and violent crimes. That's interesting. Illegal drug markets are dangerous and unregulated, often introducing substances laced with fentanyl or other deadly additives. Guess what? That's still happening even in areas that are legal. Economic benefits. States like Michigan and Illinois have shown that legal marijuana markets can generate hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue. Oh, well, you don't say. Well, we're going to look at both of those states and see how they're doing right now. Consumer protection and regulation. By regulating the marijuana, like tobacco and alcohol, we can ensure that only responsible adults age 21 have access. Really? Really? Because when was the last time listen, I'm sure everybody in the chat right now has drank before they were 21. And now you're claiming, I'm sure even Michael Paul Hart had himself a sip of Mike's Hard Lemonade before he turned 21. What was the other one? What was the the clear one? It wasn't Fresca. It was something else. Zima? Was it Zima? Huh? Yeah, Zima. I'm sure that little twink was drinking Zima before he was 21. All right. Keeping revenue in Indiana. Indiana is losing tax revenue to neighboring states like Michigan, Illinois, and Ohio, where marijuana is already legal. Well, guess what? People are leaving Illinois. People are leaving Michigan. All right, so these are all his arguments that he had, and obviously I came out with all this. I came out with the mother effing receipts as usual because I'm awesome. All right, but moving on. Don't worry, this is a very planned thing. So prominent Republicans back safe and regulated marijuana legalization group. Like I said before, these are the people that you're going to have to watch out for, the safe and regulated people. And Jake Teshka did get money from them. Everybody, you know what? I'm figuring out. Actually, I've already known. But hey, wait a minute. Where's this at right now? Oh, wait a minute. I thought you said if weed was legalized, people wouldn't be having the hard drugs. And look at this. This guy's literally rotting using the fentanyl laced with xylazine, a horse tranquilizer. And a common side effect is the amputation of limbs. Wait a minute. I thought if weed was legalized that we wouldn't be having these problems. Wait a minute. They have weed. Why would they be taking fentanyl? Look, this person's leg is like broken in half. Look at this. Yeah, it enters their brain. All of this stuff. But wait a minute. You told me that if weed was legalized, people wouldn't be doing this stuff. So weird. Yeah, well, I'm not for legalization at all because this is what happens when it is legalized. Every state that has legalized it has, in the long term, has not done well. And right here, August 7, 2024, the misplaced overspending of Michigan's 2025 budget. Oh boy, the state funds was $46.8 million, a 0.4% decline from the previous year. They had all the stuff to reduce that to $350. So $350 million. In short, lawmakers passed an unsustainable budget that deferred pension debts and wasted money on pet projects that are better advised. But wait a minute. According to Michael Paul Hart, according to Safe and Regulated, and according to the people that Joe Elsner is sticking up for, and Jake Teshka and all these other boomers, Michigan has so much more money because weed is legalized. And this is what we have discovered with Indiana, with IEDC, with Indianapolis, especially today. I'm turning this comments off. I'm making sure I don't even look at it. So don't even bother me trying to reply to any of your comments. Watch, comment. I don't care, but I'm not responding to them because you're not going to be I'm not going to get distracted on any of this stuff. And what happened? Lawmaker has spent about $19 billion more than the sustainable level since fiscal 18 to 19. They could have saved roughly $4 billion from the current budget. But I was told if weed was legalized, we would be having all this money. Do you remember when Mike Young said, hey, you told us if the gas tax was up, we wouldn't have to pay for any more road projects. Everything will be covered. And this is what happens when legislators have money. They waste it on dumb crap. Let me pull this up real quick. I'm going to give you a perfect example what just got released today, actually. Where is it? Boom, right here. Marion County, let's see, $2 million for Indies Park maintenance, $2 million for a homeowner repair program, $2 million for crime prevention grants, $1 million for urban forest preservation, which all the lib shits have been talking about that forever. Over $500,000 for Circle City readers, $500,000 to implement safety improvements by the Fatal Crash Review team. Hey, guess what? Go read through the Fatal Crash Review reports. Come to find out that it's done by a bunch of repeat offenders on the road. This one's funny. $500,000 to support current and expand new cultural districts. Get the F out of here with this, okay? $27 million, and that's how much of that money is being spent on all these dumb projects. All that money should be spent on fixing the roads. Obviously, they're going to be wasting $4 million on snowplow trucks, but you still have to find people to drive them. Have that money for stormwater enhancements too. But this is what happens when you get all this extra money. You waste it. And you're telling me, oh, wait a minute. I thought the weed money, we would be able to do all of this stuff. Well, really, because Michigan has a problem with it. California is facing a projected budget deficit of $73 million for 24 to 25. But wait a minute, this is going to be a common theme. That I'm going to annoy you so bad that you want to just either turn this off or finally look in the mirror and say, you know what? Whitty was right. I am wrong. All you people that want to legalize weed. California legalized weed. Wait a minute, they're at a $73 billion budget deficit. But all of a sudden, all these potheads, oh, come on, Colorado, son. You're going to make me do this? I'm not paying for this, by the way. Oh, all right. Well, is it going to show? Okay. Colorado's budget hole is now $1.2 billion. Medicaid costs continue to climb. By the way, this is the same issue that Indiana had, but it was a $500 million or $500 million, $400 million, and they were able to fix it real quick. This is Colorado, who apparently told us that from all the safe and regulated people, we're missing out on the money. This is actually happening because of all the illegals. Because they're supplying them with housing, they're getting them all free Medicare and Medicaid. All the people that are all the illegals that are getting ESL training, so on and so forth. But this is what happens with Democrat states. Colorado's budget has skyrocketed from $23 billion to $45 billion in 6 years. What do they have to show for it? 45th in K through 12, third most dangerous state. 43rd in highway performance, cost of living higher than 33 states. But apparently Colorado knows what's going on. That's why they legalized weed. Unbelievable again. Wait a minute. Let's look at our neighbor real quick. From November 4th, Illinois faces a $3 billion shortfall in 2026, a new report shows. And by the way, all of these states in their constitution show they have to have a balanced budget. So either you're taking away stuff now or you're kicking the can down the road. One way or another, you're having a balanced budget, even if it's just done by words. So one way or another, they're going to have a balanced budget is what I'm saying. But according to all of you potheads right there in the chat, all of you people that want to legalize weed, you're telling me that, hey, if we legalize weed, we're not going to have any more money problems. Really? Give me a state. I'll actually give you a state that sort of has it figured out, but they also get prostitution money, which I'm sure all you potheads are going to want next. They have a $3 billion shortfall. Our neighbor. Oh, and by the way, Chicago has I don't know if I have it on here, though. They a ton of people leaving there. They've had as few people as by the Depression. I think their population, people are leaving there all the time. I think it's the lowest since the Depression, if I remember right. Someone had an article on it. But here we go. Nevada might actually have figured it out. State lawmakers trying to solve $335 million budget deficit. This is similar to what Indiana had. This was back in January in 2021. And then what happened with them? They were able to figure it out. They scrunched the numbers. This reminds me very similar of Indiana. But they're not supposed to have this problem, right? Because they have weed legalized. We don't have weed legalized, yet we were able to figure out this problem too. And we all know about the rat people in Las Vegas. They all have prostitution money too. All right. So what was the other thing? Hold on, I got it up pulled right here. All right. So we got the economic benefits, and then we have the public safety and law and enforcement. And what happens right here? We have the no-go zones, the cartel sitting up marijuana farms in the U.S. This is happening a lot in California. I think it's happening in Arizona as well. Hold hold on, let me make sure that I have this. Yeah. All right. So in California, it's a huge problem because all the people also that have this argument, well, just let people grow it. Well, with all of you in Marion County, the people in Marion County should understand this. There are a lot of all these hedge funds or possibly even cartels that are buying up these homes, and then they're just putting their illegals inside of them. So if you were to have all these, hey, you're going to be okay with growing it, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get all these homes owned by the cartels that are going to be having grow zones. And then you say, oh, well, what about just growing it in Indiana? Our soil is so great. This is what you get with it, too. You're going to have all these cartels sitting up to all these marijuana farms the same way. And these are all the same people that are okay with the solar fields taking over, the wind farms taking over, and so forth. This is what frustrates me so much. You people out there think that people overall are good. They're not. People overall are evil scumbags, and they're cheaters and they're scammers. And when you put a vice out there, and you're going to have more people messed up. Same thing happened with gambling. Same thing happened with alcohol. And you're trying to build up all these guardrails so people will have self-discipline. Well, guess what? Look at all the fat people out there right now. Do they have any self-discipline? No. They're going to keep chowing down on their Big Macs, having their Frosties, continue to get fat. And what happens? We have to pay for through Medicare. Our taxpayers, our tax-paying dollars have to go to these fat slobs instead of actually having some discipline while all roads are messed up. And so let's go on with this, with the overdoses. Wait, I was told that if weed is legalized, then we're not going to have this problem with overdoses. Well, what's this right here? So I did a chart with Oregon, California, Washington, Colorado, Massachusetts, and Nevada. And when I just basically did a graph from 2012 to 2024, because at some point I went to Massachusetts, 2016. I basically did it from, all of you guys have to remember too, most of these, like 2014 was when the license sales came out in Washington. So just 10 years, this is where we're at. All right. What's going to happen in 20 years? I can tell you what, it's not going to be that great, but look at it. It's all going up still. The trending is up. Hey, if you want your comments in there, I'm not reading them, so cry more. But look at this. Fentanyl going up. Prescription opioids going up. And this is what I love about all the opioid and fentanyl debate. Oh, well, if weed is legalized, people will do weed. Instead of doing opioids or fentanyl, people will do weed. Ah, really? Because people are still dying from it. And here's why. People just want to get high. When I was in high school back in the early 2000s, late 90s, I knew people that were soaking their joints in formaldehyde. That overdoses that happened in downtown like a month ago, they had their fake weed sprayed with bug repellent. These people are morons. People will still overdose because all they want to do is get high. And everybody else out there feeding all the bums over there, you're just enabling them. If you really want to be based, be like the Southern California mayor that just gives them all the fentanyl that they want. You will solve the homeless problem within a week. And then we'll have enough food for the garden. And this is what I'm saying. How much does Narcan cost? How much of all these overdoses are the taxpayers having to deal with? I would recommend all of you, whatever company, if they're publicly traded, go invest in Narcan, because the overdoses are always going to get worse. Colorado drug driving prevalence is impaired driving conviction rates, effects of impaired driving. And this is the other argument too. How are you going to test it for impaired driving? How are you going to field test for it? Canada has something similar right now. I think theirs is like a 15 nanogram. I might be wrong. Maybe it's 5. But in 2017, Colorado began requiring annual analysis of driving under the influence, including causes and blah, 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 blah. The reports have been published annually for 5 years. A rough estimate of 1/2 of the state's DUI filings were attributed to drug use, and half were attributed to alcohol only. The largest component of drug driving was polydrug impairment, rather than impairment by a single drug like THC. let's see, conviction rates were 91% for alcohol only, 90% for polydrug cases, of 72% for TH only. So that means they're doing multiple drugs. Next. Right here, Jerome Adams, by the way, who I'm not even a fan of, but even he gets it. Potency is out of control. Normalization of use, especially among teens, is out of control. Our seeming acceptance of impaired motorists and employees is troubling and dangerous. There are many worrisome similarities to the beginning of the opioid crisis. It was the same thing that we saw with the opiate, is what he's saying, and we're starting to see with weed, especially with children. And I know some of you will say out there, hey, kids aren't using alcohol that much. No, it's because they're going to other drugs too. They're all up on the Adderall. They're on these antidepressants. They're vaping a lot, which we already know is going to cause them popcorn lung. And this is just the beginning of how bad things are going to get, because the more things are legalized, the more vices that are legalized, the more people will do them. And I remember Lucy, lovely Lucy, the best libertarian Lucy that I know. She was talking about the CIA or the FBI putting crack in all these black neighborhoods. Well, guess what? It's not like the feds are out there and saying, hey, smoke this crack right now. No, they weren't doing that at all. It was a vice. And then all the black community were like, hey, I really love crack. And then it came out to the other people that really like crack. It was all of it. New details were released into a mass murder of 7 at a legal marijuana farm in Riverside County. Hey, Michael Paul Hart, is this what you were saying when you said the police can focus on hard crimes and all these major things that were going on? Well, what is this all about? 7 people, mass murder of 7 in a legal marijuana farm in Riverside County? This is crazy. But if weed was legalized, we wouldn't be having these problems. Oh, wait. This is what I was saying for all the people that have the argument of, hey, well, maybe we should just allow these grow farms inside everybody else's property. That's what happens. Oh, by the way, this is Denver, Colorado right now. Gee, I was told that if weed is legalized, this will help out the homeless. The homeless population will be just fine. Really? Because there's that right now. Oh, and by the way, what did we see the other day? Where is it at? Where is it at? Right here. Leonard Fountain Square right now. This is already happening. By the way, this isn't even Fall Creek Parkway. This is just on Leonard Street next to these $400,000 homes. And weed isn't even legalized in Indiana. What do you think is going to happen when weed is legalized in Indiana? It's going to get much worse. All right, what's next? State-to-state legalization of weed has destroyed every single place. Boom. Colorado suffered from it worse than anyone. How do I know this? I lived in Colorado. I saw all the people that were coming off the bus. They looked like a bunch of drug addicts or hippies, and they were going straight to the dispensary. Unfortunately for Colorado, they were almost entirely left-wing. When they legalized, there was the gold rush. It's so true. It was a gold rush for the potheads. Federal legalization, oddly enough, would have done less damage as it would. I'm not even sure. The most black-pilled I've ever been was driving with the Rockies in my line of sight, and all I could smell was skunk coming from every car. Boom. What have I said? Even he agrees with it. The second you legalize a vice, you'll be swamped with people who want to partake in that vice, which is the truest thing ever. Hold on, let me make sure. Okay. We can see it. It's why people fight tooth and nail to stop casinos from being built. They'll bring casino Americans. Ironically, leftists are leaving Colorado in droves because unaffordable live there now. The people no longer align with our values. Well, Seattle is just prettier. But it's fun to watch a house in Denver go for $200,000 to $800,000. This is so true. When I lived in Colorado in 2017, I'm like, there's no way I will be able to afford a house here. Like, these houses are like what you would expect from a $150,000 house in Marion County to a $400,000 house in Denver. There's forgot what the city is just south of Denver, not Aurora. I can't remember right now, but the same thing. Like, there's no way I'll be able to afford a house out here. I'll be an apartment dweller forever. All right. In California, medical legalization was just fine. When used as a medication, it can be a great thing. Once it became recreational legal, everything went to hell. 73% tax to the state. No more research in illegal Chinese grow crops drowning the earth and caustic pesticides poisoning people. What do you think they do to the food right now? Huh? Mother effer? They poison us through the food. You think they're not going to do this through the weed? Come on, man. What are we doing here? Chinese nationals operate nearly every illegal indoor marijuana farm in the largest U.S. county. Remember that the people that were saying, well, you know what? If people could just grow their own in their home, what do you think is going to happen? This kind of stuff. I have been saying it for a long. By the way, this is 2023. I've had this opinion for at least 10 years. Anybody that has 120 IQ and above knows what's going to happen. Big picture stuff, people. Bay Area cannabis grows linked to Chinese organized crime. 2023. And I know some of you are going to say, oh, this is Fox News, blah, blah, blah. Oh, what's that? San Francisco Gate? Okay, they said the same thing. Right here, Carrier Journal, marijuana wars, violent Mexican drug cartels to Northern California and to the Wild West. Hey, you want people to grow their own weed in their house? This is what you're going to get. It's because it's not going to stop at the home. It's going to start happening in all these big acre areas. They're going to be owned by Chinese nationals, cartels, whatever foreign company you want to think of. That's who it's going to be open or who's going to be being run by. And the problem is all these leftists, all these liberals, and even the rhinos and the GDP bros will be like, oh, but private property rights. The libtards, the libertarians are going to say the same thing. Oh, I should be able to sell my home to the cartels. Yeah, so they might have done some bad stuff, but open borders, bro. And this is what's going to happen too. Hannah Crutchfield, back in a couple of years ago, where she got killed over on the east side, and one of the drivers was high. And this is what you will get more of this, by the way. Cernovich said it perfectly because he lives in California. You're going to have people stalling at the light, just totally blown out of their mind, having 15 seconds at the light. You're going to have the smell in the air of just straight up crap. And you're going to have a lot more accidents too. And let's talk about the children real quick, because this is happening more and more, especially the more vaping that we do. Regular marijuana use in children and adolescents is linked to an increased risk of developing psychosis, including disorders like schizophrenia. And this is what happens. Hey, guess what? Brains aren't even developed until 25, right? So now what you're doing is you're smoking weed, you're vaping, and you're busting up your brain. And I know some of you are going to say, oh, we'll just get more drug treatment centers. Hey, let's legalize weed, but we'll just open up more drug treatment centers. Or you don't legalize weed, and then you won't have to open up drug treatment centers. Because here's the deal. You're going to have to convince these people that they care more about life than they do about drugs. Now, moving on, the link between cannabis and psychosis is robust and obvious. Anyone who has any real knowledge, despite this, the push to liberalize access to drug continues apace, whilst at the same time we talk constantly. And this is what happens. The vice, people, the vice, until we start normalizing it. Oh, what's the big deal? I have control, said every addict. This might be my favorite page on Twitter. Parents opposed to pot, educating about the dangers of marijuana use, legalization, bursting the bubble. They have a lot of good information of what's going on here. And right here, and we see about the THC gummies too. Let's see. This 4-year-old, Tanner, got into his mom's THC gummies, overdosed, and died. This could be the same argument about guns right here. Kid got into the gun case and shot himself in the face. But hey, you know what? THC gummies, bro. All right. Running out of time. I got 2 more pages. Cannabis use disorder. It's a real thing. Mental health condition. And we keep hearing about the libtards about, oh, guess what? What about mental health? Well, let's see. Cannabis use disorder increases mortality risk and colorectal cancer. So was that butt cancer? That sucks. Convergence of cannabis and psychosis on the dopamine system. Despite evidence that individuals with a cannabis use disorder are at an elevated risk of psychosis and that the neurotransmitter dopamine has a role in psychosis, the mechanism linking cannabis use and psychosis remains unclear. But there could be argued. And then this one I just threw at the end, current treatments for cannabis use disorder. People are getting addicted to this. And if you don't, hey, all of you potheads out there, can you go without weed for a week? Can you? Show us then. It's a real addiction. And then let's not even talk about the vaping. All right, I'm clearing this out. We're going on to the next one because I want to talk about this scumbag real quick because I have less than 20 minutes. This guy is Justin Swanson. He is the president of the Midwest Hemp Council. He also is a principal at Bose Public Affairs Group and the partner at Bose McKinney Evans. And he is part of the where is it, the cannabis? And the firm's cannabis practice group. He is the forefront of the cannabis industry and has developed a unique multi-dimensional dimensional government affairs practices. Yeah, I know. Hey, one could say, just saying. What else here? So also, I went on this guy's Twitter, and this was the part that pissed me off the most. This guy's a huge Bitcoin person, even to the point where he was shilling for Millennia coin. This is just like Trump coin. These people, and when I say GDP bros, this is who I'm talking about. When you're like, hey, you know what? Go ahead and invest in this money, lose your life savings, and then you'll get rug pulled. But at least Millennia coin went up there, bros. Am I right? These people need to be deported by helicopter ride. These are absolute vultures, the scum of the earth. I hate lobbyists with all of my heart. There's like, if there is any one group that if I could do all Thanos snap right now, it would be lobbyists, and every single one of them. They have sold their soul to the devil for a few pennies. And Jake Teshka is probably the top tier list next to Ed Soliday of the biggest scumbag in the IGA right now. This guy, what do we got here? Blockchain technology, medical cannabis. This guy was the leading the charge on the weed stuff. And we go onto his campaign reports. What do we see? He got $250,000 of this last election cycle, which is really weird because nobody was running against him. When I see that amount of money for that you're going uncontested, it automatically screams out corruption. Maybe not corruption, but definitely scumbaggery, and we need to take a closer look. So remember how I said Bose before? What did he get last year? $1,500 overall from Bose. And normally Bose will give you $500 unless you're just their good little boy that gets a pat on the head and said, hey, you're a good boy. Here's a little bit of money for being our shill for what the F ever. And how do I know this? Because I go through a bunch of campaign reports. It is one of my hobbies because this is the kind of stuff that gives me rage every single time when I know that you're just a scumbag. Right here, $1,000. And then he got another $500. You know how I was saying that Bose normally only gives $500? What happened during a non-election year? He only got $500 right there. Well, what happened during an actual election year in 2022 when he actually had a contender? Only $500 again, which is very interesting because I just said that Bose normally only gives you $500. It's so funny because Bo had only got $500 and he's like literally their bitch boy. All right, so I got like 10 minutes left. We have officially entered the how we got here stage and my trust chart for, and I got to show it to the rest of the boys on the Indie Reporter site that Mike Young is officially off the number one. He has dropped a tier because I can't trust him unless I can like 100% trust you. What you want for the people, then depends. All right, so Senate Bill 478, we've talked about this before, craft hemp flower and THC products. Now this, I have talked about this a bunch. This would have given the blueprint on legalizing weed in Indiana, because then you would have had all the regulations set up basically. And guess Travis Holdman and Chris Garten, who is obviously going to be in a low tier of the trust chart. They were the ones that authored her, but all these people signed up for it. And guess who was one of the other sponsors? Jake Teshka. This might have been the most disappointing sponsor right here was Becky Cash. Becky Cash is probably going to lose her re-election next year. And you know what I say to that? RIP. All right. Go find a based Republican to primary her out, because there is one of my like hard no's when it comes to being a Republican, and that is legalizing weed. If you want weed legalized, you are dead to me. And that's the truth. I will never trust you. And Becky Cash is officially on there. Bartels, obviously, too. But by the way, we had some based Republicans on here, and where is it? Hold on, bill actions. There were a lot of amendments on here, and I have it in my notes, and I want to bring these people into the viewpoint because we had some based Republicans that were, what did I have? Hold on, let me look up my notes real quick because, let's see. Yeah, poison pills. These poison pill amendments were basically trying to kill this bill. And who were they? I had them in here. They were Bascom, Ireland, King, Prescott, and Wesco. They had brought all of these amendments in here to try and kill Senate Bill 478, which I think King ended up being into the 4 list. Prescott's still on the 4. Wesco's on the floor, barely. Bascom was number 2, and of course, King Ireland was the number 1 on the trust chart because he has done a phenomenal job in the state house this year, especially as freshman. So make sure shout out to those people. Allegedly, McGuire was on that too, but she's still in the no trust zone. She'll always be in the no trust zone. By the way, she never emailed back any reporter. So what else here? So all these people we had, let's see, Bartlett, I think, was on there. Bascom right there. Baining voted against it, which was a weird one. Goss Reeves voted against it. Ireland, Isa, Ethan Lawson, very weird that he voted against it because he is about establishment as you can get. Ray, Slager, Hunter Smith, Snow, which he is like the definition of corrupt. Same thing with Soliday and Stewarwold and Thompson, Wesco, Yoakum. There were some very surprising names that I saw voted no on it. Very interesting. Rokita totally understood it, where this was going to be parallel into legalizing weed. He understood it. Micah Clark from AFA totally got it. And by the way, I know some of you are like, oh, you're just anti-weed. I am anti-weed, but me and the boys did have a little think tank. This is on the website of whitmer4indy.com/420. If we were going to legalize weed, these were all the guardrails that we were putting up there. And there were some major guardrails too. This was just a fun little exercise, by the way. These I think we got here already. Okay, so the other people, so the senators that voted against it were Carrasco, Kreider, Freeman, Cook. I think Lysing's a Republican. Ratz, I think Schmidt is too. Tomes and Young, they all voted against it. All the Republicans voted for, or all the Democrats voted for it. Mike Young, now this is where I have to say that Mike Young is no longer on the tier 1, the top T list, the top chart list, because even though he voted no against it, he did have a bill for medical cannabis, which is a big no-no for me. This was when I saw this, it just broke my heart. I was like, this is why I can't trust people at all, because of stuff like this. Allegedly, you're pro-life, but protecting life would like not have this without it all. Whoever says that they're pro-life and is also on the side of legalizing weed, you're a dope. I am never going to believe that you are pro-life. That's the truth. And this is why we are in this situation in the first place. I found this earlier today. Back in 2018, hold on, I'm going to make sure I don't have anything else. Okay, yeah. Back in 2018, yeah, we got plenty of time. Back in 2018, the Farm Bill came out, and then this bill, the SB 52, came out, and this was legalized the low THC hemp extract. This was the why we are in this situation in the first place. And who was the author of it? Mike Young and James Tomes. And when I went back and watched the hearing for it, which by the way, back in 2018 was a giant cluster F. I mean, they didn't even have. I know some of you watched the meetings. They didn't have what bill they were talking about. It was an absolute crap show. And Mike Young is like, hey, they legalized it for the federal. Let's legalize it for the state. No big deal. The same guy who allegedly is pro-life, but didn't have the mindset to think of the future of like, well, what happens when this gets weaponized? Because we know it will, like every other vice. And I would have thought, I was thinking to myself, well, maybe he learned his lesson, and that's why he voted against the hemp bill 7 years later. Turns out he didn't. That's why he had a bill for medical cannabis, which is why basically nobody can be trusted in the Senate for the number one spot. That's just how it's going to go. I'm not taking any feedback from it. Just have to verify it with the other boys and girls of Indie Reporter. Other than that, he would have been, and he had the sale of low THC products to persons less than 21. How about we just get rid of it? Bam, problem solved. Don't even have to deal with it anymore. Just get rid of this thing, and we won't have to worry about it anymore. We won't have to worry about the gummies or the THC products. Just make it illegal, and then you won't have this problem. You'll have a reduction of it, in fact. And I want to finish this last part off, because the reason why we are here right now, the reason why that things are all messed up is because it comes down to discipline. It comes to accountability. And the reason why there are so many laws right now and they keep adding more and more is because the current laws are not enforced. We have all these liberal judges and magistrates like Jennifer Prince Harrison or Mark Stoner or Rojas. We have these garbage prosecutors like Ryan Mears. We have a garbage IMPD chief in Chris Bailey. All these people that are not enforcing the rules. And this is what's going to eventually happen. You ever seen that movie Elysium, where then like all the rich people have like their own like halo where they live on, which is what Elon is doing right now for Mars. They're going to have their own elite planet where you're like going to have these 130 IQ Anglos that just live there, or all these rich tards that can afford to be there. And then we're going to be stuck with all these animals and savages without any rules. You're going to have a lot more vigilantes, and I'm kind of here for it. Because this is what happened the other day. Do you remember when there was a police chase and then some scumbag piece of crap hit another car and killed these two babies? Well, the grandfather apparently was waiting for the guy to get transported in Hendricks County, and then he pointed his gun at the person that hit the car and then killed these two babies. I believe he got a shot off, and that's when the police officer shot and killed him. This is what happens when we don't have more executions happening. That guy should have been taken out and lynched. He should have been brought in the middle of Monument Circle and hung right in front of everybody and just ended his life. What's going to happen is that he's going to be stayed alive for the rest of, probably not for the rest of his life, for the next 30 years. And guess what? These two babies are going to be killed. So everybody out there that has children, that has new children, this is going to happen more often. And that when you legalize weed, when you even have that horse sticking under that tent and just getting a little bit of sniff, when you give them an inch, they will take a mile, and more of the stuff is going to happen. So if this is what happens when you're going to legalize weed, because this is not the last time this is going to happen. You're going to have all these people that are high, that are on drugs, and whatever it is, and then they're going to basically get put in jail, and you're going to have liberal assholes like Ryan Mears, like Mitch Gore, like that greasy pig Maureen Bauer, or that crazy psychopath Victoria Wilburn or Hunley, that are going to be like, no, I'm okay with more babies getting killed because some jerk off was running from the police. And you think it's going to stop in Indy? No, it's going to keep happening in Hendricks County and Boone County and Joco and Hamco. This is going to get worse. And right now, Marion County is ground zero of all the trash. But you know what happens with cancer? It spreads out just like it did right here. So not only is the mom or the dad of their baby dead, but so is their father, because they wanted retribution, because the court system is garbage. So unless I see any legislator out there wanting to have more executions, I'm not taking you seriously at all, because the time has come where we need to start ending these people. Or you're going to have more vigilantes wanting to kill more scumbags that kill children. All right. I got 2 more minutes, producer John, and then it's game over for today. And guess what? I didn't even look. I see comments, 43 comments that showed up, and I'm not reading any of them. I'm still not going to read any of them. Go and cry more. You know what? If you want weed legalized, go to another state then. If it's that important to you, go to another state. I can't wait to move out of Marion County. I can't wait to move out of this shithole. I am less than a year away from getting out of this town filled with all these animals and savages, with all these freaking retards that just want more bullshit in this godforsaken city. I cannot wait to leave. Yeah, I know, Brad. I love you too, Brad. It popped up in the screen. I messed up and I didn't have OBS in front of here. All right. Now I can't see it anymore. Thank God. All right. But it all comes down to discipline. Hey, Brad, I still want my debate. I want to talk about fat people, and I don't want to be funding these fat slobs anymore. All right. Do I have any more notes on here? No. I think that's it. All right, so last part. All right, I got a minute left. This is what's going to happen. No, don't forget, no show on Saturday. If you go to Indie Reporter, we're going to be doing the Friday show. Hey, Brad, I saw you in the chat. I know you loved it. Make sure you're in the chat on Friday. I'll read your comments this time. So Friday show, 8:00 p.m. The top the trust chart. We're working on the second draft right now. And everybody that's watching right now, you will get the second draft, and then we want your opinion on it. I think that's it, right? Make sure. Okay, that's it. All right, bye. See ya. Love you. Bye.